This episode of Operations Unfiltered is brought to you by Asili Hair Care Center, where hair health is the top priority. Asili Hair Care Center specializes in nurturing natural beauty with premium hair care solutions tailored to individual textures and styles. Whether you're seeking protective styles, deep conditioning treatments, or expert consultations, the Asili team is dedicated to helping everyone embrace their hair's full potential. Head over to vagaro.com/Asili Hair Care Center 1 to book your appointment. Welcome to Operations Unfiltered, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of influencer and talent management. I'm your host, Zuryna, and today we have an amazing episode. I'll be chatting with an award-winning content creator and influencer, Simone Phillips, better known as Charm City Table. We had a great conversation about her journey to content creation, the people who make up her team, some challenges, and some accomplishments, and so much more. So without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Operations Unfiltered. Welcome to Operations Unfiltered, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of influencer and talent management. I am fangirling today because I'm joined by an award-winning social media influencer and content creator, Simone Phillips, aka Charm City Table. Welcome.
Thank you. That was such a nice intro. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited because you have been a crucial part to some of my date nights. You are a contributing factor to why I cannot unbig my back this summer because I cannot stop trying out these restaurants that you recommend. So how did you start this journey? Where did it begin? Take us on a journey.
Yeah, so it was really just started as a hobby and as a, personal interest is like most platforms and content creators start out. I love food. I don't cook as much anymore because like my whole life is about visiting restaurants and trying all these different places, but I love to cook and try new recipes. And I remember me and my friends, we would always want to try a new spot around the city, outside of the city, even in DC, DMV, but especially in Baltimore, we love trying new foods. As I kept doing that, I just wanted to take pictures and show people and talk about them. So it kind of became a little personal diary for me to record, some of my favorite bites. And, I just like the idea of eating out. So when I started, I wanted to create a platform specifically for restaurants, and then I wanted it to be very centered in the city. I wanted to be very Baltimore centered because I felt like even though I went to DC, even though I was like in Laurel or wherever, I really felt like our food scene had something to say and people weren't talking about it enough. They were always talking about DC, and they were always talking about, places in Northern Virginia. And so when I started, that was the place to go to eat. And I was like,
I'm not driving all the way to Northern Virginia.
And I think Baltimore has the edge. I kept going, and I was like, fine dining and stuff like that. We were building that up at the time that I started, but I felt like everything else, like price point, range, types of food, types of cuisine, the city had it. So I wanted to really celebrate that.
What year did you start?
2017. I started in spring of 2017. Yeah. So it's been like
goodness.
7 years. I think 7 years is the math. But yeah, so that was the thing. And so my whole thing was like pushing the Baltimore food scene, showing some of my favorite bites and celebrating uplifting the city specifically. And
now,
so,
are you born and raised here?
Born and raised. Yes. Baltimore native. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Born and
what
raised.
side? What side for all my listeners? What side?
I'm from over west. My family's from West Baltimore. I was born and raised. Not raised. I was born in the city. Lived over on Park Heights and like Falstaff area up until elementary school, and then we moved to Woodlawn, Baltimore County.
Okay. Listen, let me acting like I know over west, over east. I don't know none of that. I rely heavily on Apple Maps. I am a county girly. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. I'm a transplant. So don't get me to lying, acting like I know over west. No, ma'am.
You sound like you knew what you was talking about. So
I was trying to. I'm trying. Yes. But to your point, you started right when the industry started to shift. And now we're in this crazy space where there's so many people, so many content creators, so many influencers. And there's this age-old debate. Are you a content creator? Are you an
Yeah.
influencer? What do you consider yourself? Or are
I
you
know.
both?
Yeah, I think I'm both. I would say
I
that
love
I'm both.
it.
I feel like depending on what circle you're in, I think about this a lot because it's always a discussion. I feel like
Yeah.
depending on what circle you're in, it feels appropriate to use them. Like I'm over
Interchangeably.
here, right? I'm over here.
Yeah.
I'm saying content creator over here. I'm saying influencer, but I think if you have a platform that people are listening to, even if it's smaller, even if it's big, like you are influencing people. So you don't always I feel like people think an influencer is this person who sells themselves and sells their lifestyle and then
Mm-hmm.
pushes these products on people. But if you're into movies and you're talking about all the movies that come out and giving your personal review, you're influencing people to get into movies and to watch movies. So therefore you're a film influencer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
And
you're
you've influenced me to get some Poppy's tacos. You've
yes,
influenced
right.
me to get some empanada lady.
Right.
So
That's the
I
whole thing.
definitely, yeah, I consider
Yeah.
you that for sure, for sure.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so here on Operations Unfiltered, we like to get into the nitty gritty of the industry. We like to know who are the people, the processes, the tools, and technology that push influencers forward. I want people to listen to this and be like, I want to be an influencer, or I want to work in the back end of influencing, all of that. I want to give them
Yeah.
the tea.
Yeah.
So, what tools do you use when you are creating content? Is that a ring light? Do you use
Yeah.
just your phone? Give us the tea.
Yeah, I use a couple of tools. I have, of course, on my iPhone. I shoot with my iPhone most of my content. For photos, if I'm doing photos, sometimes I have a Canon that I shoot with, like a camera. But that's usually pictures of myself or like group pictures of people.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like 99% my iPhone. And then I have an LED light that I use. I prefer to shoot with natural light. So that's why I always tell people I like to go to restaurants in their off hours. So go during right when it opens for dinner time or during lunch so I
Yeah.
can get that natural light from the sun in. But I do bring an LED light in case I'm in a moody restaurant or a restaurant
Mhm.
that's like dimly lit so you can
Yeah.
still see the food. What else do I use? I use CapCut to edit. So
Okay.
once
Come
I
on,
shoot all of my
technology.
content, in CapCut, I put all my clips in there and then edit. I have a simple headphones, like the iPhone headphones that are the core, not the AirPods for my microphone, and that's what I do for my voiceovers.
Keeping it simplistic. I
I
love
keep it
that.
very simple because like my whole thing is, I wanted to, like I said, I love food. I wanted to share my favorites when I started. I wanted to highlight the Baltimore food scene. As I grew, it kind of does turn into like everybody's going to these restaurants, you giving your own take. So I just wanted to come across as very natural and my kind of authentic style. Like I don't want it to be smoke and mirrors because they're talking about food. You're kind of talking about people's money, the decision to spend. So that's kind of my angle
Exactly.
too, intentionally keep it pretty simple. Yeah, but my phone, my light, CapCut, little headphones to do the microphone. And then for organization, I use a lot of Google Suite stuff. Some Excel when I do the Black owned restaurants. I have a big Excel sheet that I use and,
Yeah.
calendar, that sort of
Are
thing.
you an automated type of person, or are you good with just basic? Just give me the sheets, the Google Sheets, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, I do use some of the filters and some of the automated stuff, but only if I have to. I'm not,
for
some
sure.
people are bosses with smart sheets and Excel and writing the codes like that is not me. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it off my to-do list. I
right,
hear you.
like if I took the time, maybe, but yeah, no, very
Yeah.
simplistic.
And so are you the same way with your content posting wise? Do you write all your content at what? And same with filming. Are you more of a batch creation type of girl, or are you reactive?
I think more batch creation. I would say, like,
Mhm.
this part of I'm a full-time content creator or full-time. I do full-time things around my brand. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
this is like my full-time gig. So I'm doing
Hmm.
some consulting. I'm visiting a lot of restaurants a day. Some days I'm visiting 4 or 5 restaurants, but all of those, some of those are for consulting or some of those are to do
Yeah.
tasting and not necessarily to create content. But sometimes I have this really good experience that I think I should share.
Yeah.
So, think about in a week, I'm visiting like 10 to 15 different restaurants. So,
Stop.
you
10,
know,
you are booked and
I know.
busy.
Yes. Yeah. It gets busy. Um,
Oh my
and so,
goodness.
yeah, I'll sit down on usually on Sunday or Monday, and put a couple videos together for the week. I never get to finish as many videos as I want to because it does
Isn't
get
that
time
the
consuming.
age-old
But
story?
yes, I
Yes.
do try to do like seriously like 2 to 3 videos in one, sitting down. Like at least edit the clips and do the
Yeah.
transitions, and then I'll go back in and do the voiceovers and like add the text later. So I think I do batch.
Yeah, that sounds like a batch creation. Yeah. And it seems like honestly every creator is different, but if you're efficient that way, I love to see it. We love efficiency.
Yes. No, that's the only way I could do it, because I used to do one video at a time. Like, I'm going to sit down and do it. I'm going to sit down and do it. And then the week goes by and I'm at all the restaurants and getting on all the meetings.
Backed
and I'm like,
up.
I didn't make one video this week. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And sometimes that still does happen, but I think that batching really helps, because it's like, even if something will pop up that I'm really excited about, and then I do feel inspired to create and put it up that same day or the next day. But if I don't, I still have those videos that I created on Sunday or Monday, and I can put those up instead.
Oh, see, that is good advice. Now, if you guys are listening, I hope you have your pen and pad out. I hope you have your notes app open. Take the notes from a goat, okay? And now you mentioned that you do a lot of this work on your own, but part of project management is learning all about the people that help you run your business. So are there any key people on your team? Are you a solopreneur?
Yeah, I'll say I have a lot of help. I don't have a lot of full-time people, but she just went to college literally like last week.
Oh, it is that season.
She was with me since sophomore year of her high school experience, and she was like, her name was Haley. She was amazing. She helped with website updates, helped me keep track of my email, my calendar. Like, we used to have meetings where we would bounce off creation ideas and transition to my platform, because the landscape for food content creation, food blogging is always changing. And she, she has an eye that's different from mine, of course, naturally, because she's a couple generations younger, and she just has a different angle in general, because everybody's a different person. So it was so great to have those conversations with her and see her perspective, especially to think like not everybody thinks like me, not everybody processes things the same way. So she was such a big help. So I am in the market for like a new intern or a new assistant. So
after this, your DMs are gonna be blown up.
I'm scared to like post it because I don't want.
I know you don't want to go through that, yeah.
And then I have all the resumes, and now I'm telling people I know. No, that's been my hesitation. But no, I really do need one, because this week has been truly excruciating not having that extra help.
Yes, outsourcing has been key. So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I do have a lot of freelance people that I'll bring in for different projects that I'm working on. Like right now, it's still definitely in the works, but I'm working on like hosting dinners and like activities for like people to come out. So I have hired an event planner. I hired another content creator to come help. When I launched my newsletters, I had a freelance person, Lisa, who worked with me for a couple of months to like get those newsletters out. My husband's a big help. He helps. If I'm ever in front of the camera, he's usually the one shooting the content. He's the one that kind of handles the photography.
Husband and wife. Yes, come on, husbands. So, listen, the husbands will catch those angles. I love that.
He's so good now. Like, he is good. He is
mine too. All my friends are jealous. They like, your husband's squatting to catch the angle. I'm like, he absolutely is. Yes.
Right. That's him.
Yes. So, you have quite a few 100,000 followers. And usually people feel like at that point you need a manager, you need an agent.
Yeah.
Do you have that? If so,
no.
why not?
I don't. I've been searching. I feel like, this is like not a brand new search. I've been looking for a year, and I will say I technically do. I have a management company who will send me. I can't remember what the agreement that we have, but basically they'll send me businesses who are in the market for a content creator for certain things. But I don't have someone who helps me manage my content. Like I've been in the search for a talent manager, someone that can help me strategize with my content, someone who can help me bring in brand deals, just because the consulting side of my business and assisting small businesses with marketing has kind of really revved up in this past year in 2024. And so it's kind of hard for me to look for those opportunities on my own. I'm very grateful, very blessed to say most of the brand deals that I get, they reach out to me, but I don't do a whole lot of pitching these days. I just literally do not have the time.
Yeah.
So I was working with a team like that would just send me stuff, but and the things that they're sending me are just, they blast them out to everyone. So they're not very catered.
They're not customized.
No,
right?
They're not catered to me at all. I'm like, I'm not doing a medicine ad. I'm not doing,
that's not my niche. I get it.
Sunscreen. So like, I don't have a management team who can, help me strategize and think about, and keep up with trends and just things that are happening. So I'm still doing very much a lot of that on my own, which means some sleepless nights, but it's okay.
Yes, that is a part of the daily grind, but we are putting that out since you've said what you're looking for. Hopefully it will come to you.
Yeah, and I've met with quite a few managing companies, but I feel like my style, a lot of it is off camera. I'm presenting the restaurant, so I think a lot of people get like, they're thinking, what is a food blogger or food content creator that's not a reviewer and that's also not necessarily lifestyle? I think that's kind of a difficult
area.
niche for some, not everybody, but for some management companies to kind of realize, because I think I don't know what they're looking for per se.
You're a bit
I
of
don't want to assume, but
you're a unicorn, and you need someone who can help you with the unicorn. Right. Help the unicorn.
Exactly. With the thoughtfulness behind the platform, because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be informative, but I feel like a lot more thought goes into it. So like a random Pepsi AC ad just wouldn't work for me.
No, for sure. Well, listen, y'all, moral of the story, she is looking, but you have to be intentional. She is looking. Yes.
That's it. And the little intentionality goes a long way with me.
Yeah, for sure. And while you were mentioning what you were looking for in a manager, you were doing a little bit of cloth talk, a little bit of brag talk. You were saying, I'm a consultant and I have all of these things. So let's get into brag on yourself. This is the segment where I need you to run it down. You were recently given an award by Mayor Brandon Scott's office. We need to get into that.
Oh my gosh.
Your bio says you were on the Drew Barrymore show. You've been on NPR. Let's run it down. What are some of your greatest accomplishments? Let's go.
When I started, it was such a hobby, and I remember thinking back, I've said this before, that one day, a restaurant might have me come in and eat for free, and like that was like the dream. So everything that has happened after
free
that
food
has like completely like surpassed anything that I ever dreamt this up to be. So it's just, sometimes it's mind blowing when I look back. But I was recently given a certificate of recognition by Mayor Brandon Scott in his office for community impact, and
congratulations.
Thank you.
So deserving, because like I said, you are an influencer.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to influence the community. Things with restaurants and things where events, this is economic impact for the city, so it's fun. People get great ideas. People are more connected, which is great, but it also puts money in people's pockets and keeps the city thriving and a place for people to come and they feel comfortable living and eating and celebrating here. So I think that's just a beautiful thing. That's been one of the benefits of having this platform. I was on the Drew Barrymore show a couple of years ago. It was a Hometown Hero series. So I got to talk about some of my favorite spots in Baltimore, and it was fun. We did like a ride on the water taxi. We visited some of my favorite food spots. Yeah, it was really, really cool. I've gotten to work with so many huge brands, including the Ravens, the Orioles. I've gotten to work with, Verizon, Comcast, helping small businesses with Comcast get grant money and grant opportunities.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So a lot of small businesses, that's their issue. It's like, it's money. They're self-funding. They're not a big corporation. So, any opportunities to do that with any big companies just feels so good, because that's the whole point. It's the whole point, to make sure everybody feels like they're a part of it and they can like
and then they have a seat at the table, and so
that's
many
right.
times,
That's what
yeah,
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
and so many times it's money is the barrier. So that's amazing
Money
that you're
is
able
the
to do
barrier.
that.
You know, people have a good product, a great idea, and it's like, well, if I had just had $10,000, I'd be able to bring this
Yeah.
idea to life. So being able to
Things
do
as
that's
simple
great.
as like startup fees are crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
you are doing the work. I love to
Yeah.
see it. And you mentioned all these wonderful collaborations. You've been on Drew Barrymore show, which is amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Are there any dream collaborations that you have? Any brands you want to work with that you haven't yet?
I don't know if there's, because like I said earlier, I think a lot of this is just amazing in and of itself. I just seems surreal at times that I'm able to work with all these major brands and work with all these amazing people. But I think, you know, as my platform continues to grow, I just want to make sure it stays Baltimore centric. So any opportunities to work with Baltimore organizations in a really impactful way and connect with people in a really impactful way that people can actually see and feel, those are sort of my dream collaborations. So I can't say that I have a brand, but I also, you know, I always want the impact to be bigger and better. So any collaborations that kind of fit that mold always feels good to me.
I love that. Feel-good collaborations are always the ones
feel-good
that...
collaborations.
Yeah, they're always the ones that yield the best, that have the best engagement, because it's authentic. Yeah.
Exactly. It's authentic. And I want it to be felt. I never wanted to feel like it is just another food blog. Of course, you can't, not everyone's going to see that way, but for me, you know, I have to feel like it's something special. It's something that connects with people in a very authentic way. So that's what I'm always looking for.
No, for sure. And I feel like from here on out, this year, the past couple of years, authenticity has been reigning supreme. So, and people can tell when you're being fake. So
right, exactly.
We love to see that.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone who is interested in content creation as a career? I know it's not all glitz and glamour.
It's not. No.
So what would you tell someone? And you started this as a hobby. So
I would say, my advice is always to just really get started. What do you like? How do you want to deliver it? And figure that out. Just start posting, and don't get too caught up in just trying to go viral. I feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, in this viral sort of attention economy, people are just obsessed with getting likes and shares, and they haven't really developed their style. And sometimes I feel like when you're quick to go viral, your style starts leaning into what you think is going to get clicks and likes, and and not necessarily what you think is going, like what makes you happy or what makes you feel a little fulfilled. So I would say my advice would be to create the content, post it, look at your style, see what you like, see what you don't like, and figure out what you want to do. And also, for the type of content creation that I do, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff like networking and relationship building is 1,000% necessary. I don't ever want people to
speak on it. No shade. Speak on it.
I don't want anybody to ever think that it's like you alone in your room or you at a restaurant with one of your buddies and that's all that it takes. You know, if you want these local collaborations and you want to be a part of a network, you have to network and you have to build relationships in order to get those opportunities, because
nobody's gonna know you.
Nobody knows a person, and they want to know that the people that they're working with are sane. First of all, they want to know.
Exactly.
Not going to embarrass the brand that they work for. Those are things that people are thinking about. You know, this is people's jobs. These are people's livelihoods. So I think networking is very much an important part in building a solid relationship.
For sure.
With companies and stuff.
Networking is key. And I think a lot of people think of content creation, they're in it for just the money. Can you talk about that piece of content creation, and have you been profitable as a content creator or influencer?
Yeah, I think so. I think there are, you know, it's an industry in and of itself now. It's a new form of media. So yes, of course, there are some people who are in it strictly to make money. I don't want to pretend like those people don't exist, because they 100% do. But I feel like most people who are able to continue this and to keep it thriving genuinely have a passion for what they're doing, because specifically with food and restaurants, it's not that you're not getting that much money off of visiting a restaurant. Even the restaurants that are these small local restaurants, they simply don't have a big marketing budget. And that's, we talked about earlier, these restaurants not having the income to even get some of their ideas off the ground. So they definitely don't have 10 grand to,
pay
put
you
in several creators' pockets to come to their restaurant. So it's just not a lucrative
Please
lane.
Say it louder for the creators in the back. Yes. And I try to tell people that I manage, please set your expectations.
Yeah, set your expectations. Now, I don't, I've made quite a bit of money off of brand deals, but they're not specifically with those small restaurants. Pepsi and Verizon and some of the ones that I mentioned earlier, those larger brands, a lot of the brands, specifically Pepsi, will have me, because my whole thing is supporting local. So I'll get paid from them to either to advertise their product and then promote a small Black-owned business or a small Latino-owned business. So that money isn't coming directly from that restaurant. It's coming from that bigger company. Yeah. So that's how I'm able to secure larger brand deals, is working with bigger companies to still do the same thing that I'm doing. So that's where a lot of that comes from. But I never want people to do this for the money, because you'll get burnt out really fast.
Hello, really quickly. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to put in some hours, okay?
Yeah, and I think people do see it as an opportunity for a side hustle, which, if you're good at it, that can be helpful. But I don't think being a food blogger would support someone's livelihood.
It's not going to pay the rent in this kind of economy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I feel like you can, when you have your brand, when your brand is strong, when your name is strong, then it brings on other opportunities. Like I talked about consulting, I talked about hosting different events and things like that for other businesses and organizations, doing like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that has helped me, having those different streams of income, as people like to say, through my brand has been, has helped me support my livelihood, but definitely not visiting restaurants, eating there and sharing them alone. No.
Yeah, no. And then let's get real. At what point in your career were you able to get those brand deals? Were you at 10K, 50K?
Yeah, I don't even know what number that I was at, but it was when I went full time, it was 2 years ago. So I had already been doing it for about 4.5, 5 years before I was able to go full time. I'm not saying that's everybody's experience, because people can grow pretty quickly and create a strong brand and a strong name for themselves. But I think when I started making like consistent income, it wasn't enough for me to quit my job. It was probably like 3.5 years ago, like 2020. 2021,
So you really put in some time. And if you don't mind me asking, what were you doing in addition to creating content while you were doing it part-time?
I've always worked in ed tech, so education technology, usually on the people focused. And so the last job that I worked, I was a customer success manager for a tech company so I would have to travel to universities, and it was a relationship building role, which is good, because I feel like it has helped me with this role specifically, just knowing how to build a relationship, a business partnership, a business relationship, and how to make sure it's working. Conflicts arise, how to be very solution oriented without blowing things up. This isn't personal. Sometimes this is business. So that's what I was doing before. I was a customer success manager. Before that, I worked with doctoral students and students who were getting their master in education. Yeah, and all I did was help with retention if they were struggling with some things on the university end. Again, problem solving, that sort of thing.
So, wow, and look how those skills transferred over. And now you're a business owner, so we love to see it.
Right.
I love that for you. And so these are some burning questions that I have as someone who is a consumer of the content that you put out.
I love it.
So when you go to a restaurant and you taste the food and it's nasty, do you continue with the review? How does that work?
No, I think now it's become a little easier because people know my brand. And I swear, some people online, because it's to uplift the city, so people think that it's just everything's so nice. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love it. But I will tell the restaurant, I will tell the chefs are very sensitive. So I am kind about my critique, but I will tell them, even if I know that I've known them for years.
Yeah,
like
because they are artists and they are
they're
very
artists, they're
sensitive.
creative, and they're super sensitive. And it's funny to be like, well, I thought this needed a little bit more spice. Well, yeah, it's not supposed to have spice. Like, they would definitely like clap back a little bit.
Awkward.
But yeah, these are just real conversations that I feel like I have to have for myself to remain authentic, or to even have their respect, because it's like, it's not just about it coming off to the people as positive, or, try for yourself. Like, I really wanted to feel like something that I enjoyed, and I really want the chefs and the restaurant to feel like this is a product that they could sell to people and that people would enjoy. So if that's not being delivered, I think they should know.
I'm gonna tell you.
That's all I can offer at this point. That's literally the point of doing what I do, to be able to share that feedback. So no, I'm a big feedback person. If it's great, I'll sing your praises. If I think it's missing something, if I think it needs something, like, I will 100% say that. Yeah.
Honesty is key, and that just adds to your authenticity. So that was my burning question, because I've worked with some talent that will eat the food. Talent, they will
and
eat it.
A lot of times I'm invited to places, but a lot of times I'll go on my own as well, to just, I've been meaning to check this place out. I don't feel like messaging the people and coordinating and setting it up, because not everybody get how the process works, and sometimes I genuinely don't feel like explaining it to them, and sometimes I just want it to be a review that wasn't very super set up, and people
authentic, genuine.
Yeah, right. I want it to be genuine. So sometimes I'll go in and just not have a good experience and be like, okay, well, I tried it.
I'm gonna put that in the vault. We're gonna put that in the vault.
Sometimes I'll share it in my stories, especially if it's a restaurant or a place that people have been like, y'all get a lot of DMs. People to ask me to try places. I'll be like, oh, I finally tried this place, and I didn't like it. I thought it was missing this and that. So
have you experienced the Keith Lee effect, where you've said a not so good review and the restaurant has been like, no, or the positive side effect of that?
The only one I can think of, the positive side, it happens quite a bit. Some people will even joke, I'll have a restaurant, like post a restaurant that performs really well, and they'll sell out of stuff, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you have the Keith Lee effect. And they'll be like, it's the Charm City table effect. Like, restaurants will definitely joke like that with me quite a bit. But the only one I can think of that I've said something and it hasn't been flattering, well, it's been 2 times. Black Swan, and it was more so a critique of the service and the experience. It was a chef specifically. I can't remember what restaurant he's at, but I critiqued that chef's specific style, and he was super
mad,
offended.
Awkward.
And I wasn't saying that he was a bad chef. I was saying that he has a very niche style, a very specific style, and I think most people would like it if he was able to market it better. If people knew that his style was that, and not like some American traditional cuisine, they would like it, because then they could go for his French stuff. They could go for that special culinary experience. But if they're thinking they're gonna have a burger, steak, pizza type thing,
then they're gonna be upset. They're gonna be upset.
And you have all the mother sauces and everything going on. People are gonna be like, "What is this?"
I'm like, "What is this, honey?" Okay, that is very consultanty of you.
Yes, it is.
And some people just don't have the appetite for that. No pun intended.
You're right. And you should let people know that in advance. People have to remember, and I'll keep this in the back of my head. People are spending their real money. We're getting these free experiences. The chef is, of course, getting, to create and do his thing. But everybody isn't going to like everything. And I'm well aware of that. That's definitely a possibility. No matter how much people praise a restaurant, I feel like that's how people use the term overrated. I feel like that's how that becomes a thing. 1,000 people like the restaurant, but you 5 over here, that may not be your cup of tea. And that's fine. That's a little bit different from somebody serving up a terrible product or not being able to market to their right audience, all the people coming in expecting one thing and seeing and experiencing another. So you kind of have to find that sweet spot. More consultant stuff. You gotta have to find that sweet spot where people understand what's going on, and the majority of people are enjoying what's going on. So. No,
for sure. You are giving some gems today. That's why I told people at the top of the episode, get your notes ready, get your apps out, get ready.
I hope so.
Yes. And so what's next for Charm City Table? What's next for Simone? You mentioned consulting. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, I think my thing is always just strengthening my brand, like I said earlier, and just trying to scale the impacts of what Charm City Table does for people in the community and small businesses and local restaurants. And like, what does that mean? It means a couple things, but everything's kind of still in the works. Like I said, I'm moving into like dinner hostings, which I think will be fun. Like I do that for like special events. Like I did one with Hopkins where I was like facilitating a conversation
I love
about
that.
like civic engagement and things like that. But I want my own things to be like
Okay,
fun. And I think
visit Baltimore. Visit Baltimore. Where you at?
I think that's what I want. I want it to be more my own thing where I'm hosting these dinners and hosting these events and getting people into the culinary scene. And of course, I want it to be a bit equitable. So having people who may not be able to afford that experience but are foodies and want to enjoy the experience to enjoy it. And then people, of course, who have the resources and are just foodies and want to enjoy it. So more connecting with people in person as opposed to offline, I think is more of my next step. So we have lots of things in the works. So we'll see.
I love it. So downtown partnership, Bopa, hit her up, please. And then if you guys aren't following her, which I don't know how you're not, where can people follow you? What is your website? How can we keep up with all things Charm City Table?
Yes. So my main thing is Instagram. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me at Charm City Table on Instagram, Twitter, Threads. Well, I guess X and Threads. And then TikTok, I'm Baltimore food blogger. And my website is charmcitytable.com. And there you can see my bio and the restaurants who I collaborate with and all the fun stuff. Podcasts like this will be on there eventually. Yes, all of my media opportunities and things like that. So yeah. charmcitytable.com.
Well, you guys heard it here. We learned so much from you. Thank you so much for coming. Like I said, I'm completely fangirling. You are responsible for some killer date nights. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody learned something. Thank you so much for joining Operations Unfiltered, everybody.